The iPad mini is Apple's best iPad, but you shouldn't buy it. And here's why. Okay, before you all start hammering the comments and telling me that I'm posting clickbait, everything I'm about to tell you is absolutely true. So I am going to stick to the facts. Two things can be true at the same time. This is an astonishing bit of kit, but there are 8 reasons why I think you shouldn't buy the latest 7th generation iPad mini. Now, first up, if you have limited funds, and let's be honest, who hasn't these days, and you're looking for the maximum iPad for your money, this one probably isn't it. And I'm not just talking about the size, because obviously no iPad is cheap, but it's not hard to look at the $599 starting price of the iPad mini with the 256 gig storage and say, well, actually, for that amount of money, I could get an 11-inch iPad Air, which can do a whole lot more, which we will be getting to. You have to really want this form factor to think about spending that kind of money on a new iPad mini. Now, if you've never bought one of these before, I would urge you to head over to an Apple store and have a look and a feel and compare with the other sizes yourself before you take the plunge. Next up, you're likely going to be wanting to use this for watching content on, whether it's the odd film on a plane or maybe the latest episode of your favorite Netflix show while you're cooking. But the challenge with this particular size is that it's not great for scaling video content properly. You're either going to lose some space due to the aspect ratio, or you're going to have to zoom in and lose some of the picture. I think this is a pretty big trade-off that you won't find with some of the larger iPads. Next, it's no coincidence that the iPad mini is the same size as an A5 notebook, so you're likely going to be wanting to use it as a tool for digital note-taking or drawing, maybe even both. And Apple let you do this by buying one of 2 official Apple Pencils. There's the premium-priced Apple Pencil Pro with the wireless magnetic charging, the fancy hover feature, and the barrel roll, or the standard edition Apple Pencil which charges via USB-C. Third-party alternatives do exist, but I kind of resent Apple for making me buy this $130 accessory to make the most of a device that I already spent nearly $600 on, especially when my 2nd generation Apple Pencil existed, and that was working just fine with my older 6th gen iPad mini. Not very cool, Apple. Next, let's talk about the main reason Apple want you to buy this, because comparing it to the previous 6th generation iPad mini that came out in 2021, it's got the same screen, same cameras, same battery life, same bezels, and the only thing that's really different is the upgrade in the processor from the A15 Bionic to the A17 Pro. Why is that, you might ask? Well, because it needs it to run Apple Intelligence. Now, I'm not going to be the first tech YouTuber to say this by a long stretch, but this continues to need to be said. Apple Intelligence is less useful than molasses, or any part of a mole, really. Notification summaries are frequently wrong or misleading. Siri seems to be dumber than ever. Writing tools are clunky at best compared to some of the competition. And sure enough, back in March, it was announced that Apple are being sued for false advertising over Apple Intelligence, which, let's remind ourselves, was the main reason they told us that people should buy all of their latest devices. Now, for some reason, Apple think we want to use AI to create images that look like this. And thankfully, there's a far better alternative, which is where this week's sponsor comes in. Have you ever tried making a presentation and ended up with 17 tabs open and having a mild existential crisis? Because I certainly have. I used to spend hours making slides and proposals that looked like they were designed in the 90s, and don't even get me started on formatting in some of those other apps. It feels like herding cats, and the cats are blindfolded on roller skates, and they're on fire. And then I discovered Gamma. It's like the Swiss Army knife of productivity tools, and I actually know how to use it. Documents, easy. Presentations, done. If you need a website, yeah, somehow it does that too. So just last week, I had a last-minute client proposal to get out, and while I was busy panicking about what to say at the pitch, Gamma whipped up a slick, modern-looking deck with my company branding all over it, faster than I could say, oops, I kind of forgot about the deadline. It's like having an overachieving assistant who's annoyingly perfect at everything. You just tell it what you need, like give me a presentation on social media trends, pick a theme, and then it does all the research, design, and heavy lifting for you. If you want to make it prettier, just pick a different theme, and the design adjusts automatically. Want a document instead? couple of clicks. If you want some input, that's easy too. Your team members can jump in and collaborate with you. Well, thanks to Gamma, these days I spend less time formatting documents and more time pretending I'm busy, because life is too short to be faffing around with pixel-perfect images when you could be, well, not doing that. But if you want to try it out for yourself, just click the link in my description, sign up for the free version of gamma.app and start creating without the chaos. It's just you, your ideas, and a tool that actually knows how to bring them to life. Right, back to the iPad mini, and we've got a few more reasons why you shouldn't buy this. If you are into using an iPad as a tool for productivity, there's only so much you can do on this tiny screen, or any iPad screen for that matter. And in the iPad Pro and iPad Air models, they have the ability to hook up to a custom designed keyboard and a trackpad, and also plug into an external monitor to give you a very cool extended display experience with multiple windows open on different devices. You might even say this is actually quite a laptop-like experience. It isn't a laptop experience, but it's getting closer, and it definitely lets you get more done. Now, unfortunately, this isn't the case with the iPad mini. Whilst there are plenty of third-party Bluetooth keyboard and mice that you can connect to, there's nothing that's made by Apple for the mini. And if you try and plug this into an external monitor, all you get is a very antique-looking mirrored display with these big bezels down the sides that looks like a 90s TV show. That's it. Apple say that you need an M series chip in an iPad to enable it to run in that special extended mode, but I'm not sure about that. Samsung have been doing this for years with their DeX solution in far less powerful chips, so it feels like more of a cash grab to make people buy their other iPads to me. What do you reckon? Now, talking of Samsung, if you take a look at their tablets, specifically the specs of their displays, you will notice something interesting. Even their budget-priced, smaller models like this Galaxy Tab S10 FE model have screens that are both bright and pretty fast. In this case, this one goes up to 800 nits and gives you 90 Hz visuals. And if you spend a little bit more, you even get a full AMOLED display and 120 Hz refresh rate. Now, the iPad mini and the iPad Air for that matter, you just get 500 nits of brightness and a 60 Hz refresh rate. And in this day and age, that is just not good enough. It's pretty lazy, in fact. And they use pretty old screen tech too, an IPS panel with an LED backlight. If you're looking for 120 Hz or an OLED display, you'll need to spend all of the money on one of their Pro models, and that is going to set you back anything from $1,000 to $2,500 depending on how you spec it up. Ouch. Next up, let's talk about video calls. And if you have any kind of Apple device, you'll be familiar with FaceTime. It's so easy to start a video chat with someone, and the iPad mini is a perfect way to get a better look at who you're calling. But since Apple updated the rest of their iPad lineup, they moved the front-facing camera over to the middle of the bezel when it's in landscape mode. You know, that's the one that you're going to be actually using for these types of calls. Now, this again makes it a bit more laptop-like, and it means that if you're calling someone, it'll seem more like you're looking at them versus looking off to the side like you're in a documentary being interviewed. It's a small concern, I know, but unless you hook up an external webcam to your iPad mini, there's literally nothing you can do about this. And finally, this is more of a warning than a reason. There are very strong rumors circulating that Apple are planning on releasing a foldable iPhone, which could launch as early as 2026. Now, the expected proportions of this would be very close to the size of the iPad mini, which makes me wonder, in what scenario would we ever see both of these products existing at the same time? I mean, if you had something like this that also let you do all the things that you could do with an iPhone, that you could fold up and put in your pocket, would you still keep this? On the other hand, Apple analyst Ming-Chi Kuo has also estimated that the price tag for an 8-inch iPhone could come in at the $2,500 mark though, so maybe there is hope for the iPad mini after all. There are probably loads more reasons why you shouldn't buy this iPad. Was there anything obvious that I've overlooked here? Let me know down in the comments. And meanwhile, if, like me, you're happy with all these trade-offs and you've already bought yourself an iPad mini, I've got a ton of awesome accessories that you should absolutely check out, and it's right over here. See you next time, folks.